from the East Coast, gateway to the fifth dimension. This is Interstellar Radio with Ivan Teller.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you for joining us for tonight's show. We have a special guest tonight, and we're going to bring her right on. One moment. Yeah, we're going to bring her right on, and this is Gina. Greetings.
Greetings.
Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
Whoa.
Pleasure.
Yeah, so if you'd like to give us an introduction of what you'd like to talk about, or
sure.
I just say you have the floor. So
what I do, or what is interesting to me and what I like to share with people is talking about holistic healing, and that is what I do in my practice every day, but certainly intuitive and able to receive messages, and those are usually to help people through their healing process. And also I'm very interested in the planets, although I'm not an expert in, I'm very mesmerized by our planets and our planet system and its effect on us. And so, yeah, that's basically what I am here to share with everyone.
Yes, you mentioned about the planets all being aligned at this time, and they had that recent ferry boat situation, if you want to go into that, or the planets.
Sure. Right. Again, I'm not an expert on astrology, but again, I definitely keep up with what's happening because it definitely affects us in our human form, our weather, and I think that we need to be aware of what's going on. So if no one is aware, all of our planets at this particular time are now sharing the same side of the sun. So the last planet that arrived to our side here, Venus, was, I believe, yesterday. So that means that when you look up in the sky, you can see all of the planets with the exception, I think, of two. Now, when something like this happens, what I've read and what I understand it to be is it really does affect our weather. So you're going to see a lot of strange weather, something that maybe you have never seen before. It doesn't really make sense. Why is this happening? This is a very unusual event. Volcanic eruptions are definitely going to possibly be affected by that. Anything with our Earth and the changes in our Earth. Now, if these planets and these planetary alignments have that much of an effect on the weather and on our planet and our Earth, what do you think it's doing with us as humans and our body and our form? You know, we're made up of mostly water, so a lot of the planetary movement has a physical effect. I've had a lot of my patients coming in to see me this week, complaining, not this week, the past 2 days, complaining about feeling a little dizzy. So I'm not a medical doctor, and I do not diagnose anyone, but I do wonder, does this have an effect on our physical form? I mean, you would think that it might. So now, what happened in the tragedy that happened with that capsized boat on a lake is what I understand, but is a very unusual event to be happening in a lake. Now, you may think that a storm would be that disruptive in the ocean because of the amount of water and area that it covers in the depths of the ocean, but to have a tragedy like that in the middle of our United States in a lake to capsize and a lot of people lost their lives. It's so sad to hear. Is really, to me, an anomaly in itself. So those are the things that I just wanted to maybe mention here because I think people should be aware. This is actually happening. Turn off the television and look around, listen, observe for yourself what is actually going on,
Yeah, well, where that lake feels like a lot of vortexes, it's almost as if we're kind of turning into another planet in some ways because we're being affected by the other worlds. So we're not it's not going to be normal, like what we call business as usual.
Right.
I mean, it hasn't really been that way for a while, like forever probably, but it seems it is going to have more anomalies that are going to come out of nowhere. But that's true. It's July, and this planet alignment is going on, and it's not really hitting the news that much, really.
Well, I don't even say I did not get my information from the traditional news channels because I don't turn it on at all. I like to use this term that a friend of mine, said one day. She said, "I hear it, but I don't watch it." You see, so we have to be aware and then form our own educated opinion about things instead of being dictated to what to think. But my information comes from various sources, alternative news and radio and reading. And so, I just really, really encourage people to take the initiative to find out what's really going on because, like you said, Ivan, our planet is changing form. Okay, now it's going to be a gradual process. It's been changing. It's been always changing. It's not what it used to be, obviously, thousands and thousands of years ago. Went through so many transitions, but we are in the midst of it now, once again. From what I understand, this planetary alignment happened 7 times in the past 125 years or 127 years, whatever the number, and it's going to stay in this position for 52 days. So 52 days, we're going to be really paying attention to our environment and what's going on. I mean, here in Florida, we're in hurricane season. What does that mean to us?
Yeah.
I don't feel that there's going to be a big hurricane, but we're going to have some storms, very unusual storms.
I feel they're giving us the year off from what it feels like at the moment.
Yeah. I don't feel devastating storms, but I feel disruption, inconveniencing, strange, unpredicted weather, but nothing that's going to, I don't feel the destruction doesn't come into play, at least in this region of where we live. But anyway, that is just my message, and I want to also ask people to pay attention to what's going on in their own environment. How are they feeling? What are their visions? Because you know what? With this kind of arrangement, alignment, maybe they're becoming a little bit more in tune, right? Tuning in to messages or receiving messages, and not to be afraid if you don't know or don't understand, reach out to us or, someone that you trust to see, an interpretation of that. One of my patients came in today, dizzy, as I told you, and I started asking questions, and she said, but I did have a very unusual dream. And so we went through the process, and she openly shared it with me because she really kind of was frightened by it and didn't understand it. And I helped her understand the translation of that dream in association with it is her awake life, or I guess you can say her 3D awake life, and what is it representing? Because right, so pay attention to how this time right now, what changes are happening in your life,
How do you, like last year's storms, what is your point of view of that? Of the hurricanes and all the Caribbean? Did you... Wow.
My opinion... What did I get from that? Listen, I'm not a person that likes that talks about politics or gets into debate. So I really am. This is not a debatable response that I'm going to give, but I have to say that I do I have the belief system that weather is weaponized.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been, our government has the ability to do that, and other governments have the ability to do that. And I feel that that was not an act of nature.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
That was my feeling about it. There was no reason whatsoever, Puerto Rico being the unfortunate country that suffered with no power, there is absolutely no reason that they did not have restoration or relief as rapid as they could have. I know that they could. We have the resources to do it, and they're not very far from the mainland to do it.
Not at all. Yeah.
So it makes no sense to that. And so, again, I don't follow politics or want to be I want nothing to do with it, believe it, or people have their own beliefs about it. But there must have been something going on between Puerto Rico and the United States, the country, our government, that may have been a reason for this storm. I don't know, but that's intuitively. This is what when the storm hit, I did not feel Mother Nature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, yeah. When it hit Puerto Rico, it just came out of nowhere. Went right towards Puerto Rico and then went back into the ocean. It's like
very. It was. They drove it. It was driven.
Yeah.
It's manipulation, weather manipulation.
North Carolina. Yeah. It was just, and at least what I got was that a lot of them, because we got a lot of them. Some of them, like when they started out, that was natural, but then they took control over it. Is what I got.
Exactly.
Like
well, they create the environment. Weaponized weather.
Exactly.
Right. Weaponized weather has been around since Truman, right? Or I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Before my time.
Yeah.
After the atomic bomb, all this was happening. Yeah.
Oh, it becomes a science fiction movie. Yeah, pretty much.
Exactly. So I didn't really, I grew up not having any knowledge whatsoever, or even fathom this concept. I couldn't even dream this up. But as I started to learn about it more and more, I've always been mesmerized by the weather and space, but once I was shown this information a few years ago, I couldn't believe it. And then it just all kind of then made sense. Wow.
Yes,
well, certainly. What was going on in Vietnam?
Yeah.
It rained the whole
forever.
time. Forever.
Jeez.
Is it raining forever now in Vietnam? Probably not. I don't know.
I don't know. Probably not.
Right. So, and then I have this really cool little app on my phone, because in Florida it's very helpful to have a weather app to follow the storms. And one of the storms, I do not know which one it was. Maybe it was September of last year. Which storm was that was coming through Florida?
Yeah, I know what you're talking. I can't remember the name of it. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Not Isaac. That was the year before. Anyway, Jose? Marie?
Yeah.
Jose.
I have to look it up. Was it?
Irma. Boom. It was Irma. So
I do remember.
I don't know how that happened, but Irma, when that was coming, I turned on my app on my phone, and all of a sudden I saw these white dots, like all in different areas all over the U.S. So it made me think of, like, what, is this part of this weather manipulation and control? Because if you see right off the coast of Africa, all of these white, these areas where, I saw these white clouds, and this is where the storms come off. This is where the sandstorm we just had the Sahara Desert, Sahara sandstorm that just passed us last week off the coast of Africa. And so when the hurricanes, like you said, they are created, then they just go into the ocean to develop. And once they're developed, like you said, it's like they grab it and then they do what they need to do. And again, it's a form of weaponization. And I know that it's going to be hard for people to understand, but there's actual documentation by the government where this has been put into play. This is not a secret. It's available. Just go look it up. There is where our president signed off on it, you know. So, you know, now we have the current president, I heard, is forming a space force.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got weather anomalies. We've got a president creating space force. Start thinking about what is going on right now.
Yeah.
You know, you have to put the pieces together for yourself.
Yeah, getting us ready for the next generation of, you know, existence with space. I mean, you know, you have, you know, Elon Musk. He's not doing so well. He might be, you know, maybe mentally attacked, possibly.
I think his initial intention was all good, and I feel that he did what he wanted to do because he knew that he had the financial ability to do it and to get information that because we couldn't get it from NASA. And so he initially, his intent was for the good. But now, just like everyone else that gets, you know, involved with you know, going against what the government wants you to know, he got shut down. Or, in a way, there's some manipulation there.
Yeah, because he's been not, you know, saying things he wouldn't think he would normally would say and just acting irrational. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yes. This is what happens when people in mainstream start doing those things.
Well, it's interesting that, you know, he wants to go into space, but the place he wants to go is Mars, which is kind of funny because it's not exactly down the road, you know, so it's kind of a, you know. But
that tells me something. That tells me that plan is already in place. And it's been in place. That's been going on for a while. So what do I know? I know nothing. But my logical mind, my intuition, tells me that that's something that has been going on for a while.
Well,
but do I know for sure? Pardon?
No. That's the secret space program, basically.
Correct.
Mars is all over that, so... You know, for good or for bad, it's both. It's different agendas, and you could say, you know, it's like a whole nother reality that it's in our reality, but we're not aware of it. We're not seeing it.
We could
it's like in the movies. Yeah, they give us glimpses in the movies. Here, I think Mission Impossible is one of them. They have others, and they give us kind of a window, like, you know, the secret government, and the Mission Impossible is pretty much like a secret government. And there's more to it than that, of course, not just plutonium.
It's in the cartoons for the children as well.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
It's in the cartoons. It's, you know, what is that show? In and Out or Inside Out? It's where they're being... Inside Out, right. This cartoon. It was about the controlling of the minds.
Yeah, I never watched that. I didn't realize. I didn't realize that. Really? I never watched it. But I didn't know. I thought it was just a kid going through emotions and, you know.
They're controlling her. It's a controlling of the emotions and, yes, that's what it is. It's a controlling. There's like this, you know, panel of buttons, and they can push the buttons and control your emotions, stop things, start things. Oh yeah, that's in the cartoon. There's a Disney show. Yeah, but you know, it's subliminal, and these messages are wake up, people, wake up,
Yeah.
See what's happening around you. It's been happening for decades, and it's okay. Nothing, the world isn't going to implode. Just really understand that there's more to what is going on than what meets the eye. So we can really discover things if we just, tune in and trust our own intuition. That's what it's for. Okay? So when we're doing meditation, go ahead.
Well, not everybody's trusting their intuition. That's just my imagination. That's not real.
And that's okay, because at this time, on this timeline, that's where they need to be. And that's okay, because we're not all going to be, on the same.
Not at all.
Right. So speaking of timelines, so dreams. I wanted to talk about that a little bit.
Sure. Please do.
If that's okay. Because I remember you were, interested in understanding, like, how do people remember their dreams. And I think I had mentioned ways. Did you try any of those ideas that I shared yet?
A little bit of them, yes. I've been getting, I think I had a cat dream. I'm not sure if it went too well. So I get glimpses of stuff here and there, but. And
that's what they.
Yeah,
and you don't remember. So do you remember what your feeling was?
Oh, well, I do have two cats. I don't know if they were battling something that was around me. It's kind of possible that was going on. It's not really. I got like half the dream. Some of it's stress is what I got in the dream. Something was going on. So
you felt stress. Okay.
And there's one cat that was there.
Well, also the work that you do, Ivan, is very, intense. And you do a lot of work, and so it's going to take a lot out of you. So you have to I think you need to replenish yourself, and that might be with nutrients. And maybe different kinds of ways of protecting yourself. Because I get attacked. I most certainly do get attacked. Everything I do with good intent. But that doesn't mean everybody likes that.
Yeah, because what we're putting out there, a lot of the beings don't want this out there. I have a good one for you, though. My mom gave me a Bible. Because, like, she's super into religion. It's like, okay, I'll just take it. It's like, no big deal. I just even thought about bringing it up here. No, I'm not going to. And then I got attacked in a dream that night. It's like I woke up and I got a huge attack. It was like I was resisting or something like that, Jeez.
Yeah. Well, it's a human's interpretation of an event. Okay? And we choose to follow organized religion, or we choose not to. Okay? So I was raised in a religious home, okay? And I'm not against it. I just I choose to make my own choices. I don't follow the rules of a religion. So, if that makes sense, which then puts me into a more spirituality. I was asked this question one time, are you a religious person? And I said, I'm a spiritual person, and there is a very big difference. Spirituality is not a religion. It's not a religion. So, am I religious? I was raised religious. Is that a definition of who I am? No. I've had experience. I was exposed to religion. I understand structured religion and tradition, and I don't have anything negative to say about it. I have, no opinion really. My personal choice, though, is to not be restricted to guidelines that were set by man.
Yes.
Because I didn't come here in that structure to do that. That's too many restrictions for me.
Yeah.
The kind of work that I do and you do was shunned by the religious leaders.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to go into more of the dream subject matter, or yeah?
Sure. So, and actually, I had a download about it yesterday, actually, where it hit me. It's like, okay, I have had dreams, but I actually interpret it as astral traveling. So I actually go to different places, and I'm like, well, that's kind of scattered. Like, what does that mean? So I'm traveling in time. There's, time is an illusion. What is going on here? But we also mentioned timelines, right? So there's a timeline. So time, the way we know it in 3D, thinking is not the same whatsoever in the dream state. So what I got in this download was dreams are simply astral travel to different timelines of your experiences, forward and backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Moving through.
Yes.
It's like I was looking at this big, like a yardstick, and it would say, okay, you're here, then you're here, then you're here. So you're like achieving things all at the same time in different timelines.
Yes.
Does that make sense to you?
Oh yeah, multiple versions of you.
Yes.
You connect more to yourself, so it's like kind of like a big party in some ways.
Right, and if we embrace it and say, good or bad experiences are taking us to another level and an upgrade.
Yeah.
And we have to have these experiences to take us to a new level.
Well, yes, that's what. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
That's this whole life. This whole world is an upgrade. That's why it's so hard.
But some of us, including myself, because my younger self didn't understand these things. Things were happening to me that I didn't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And now I do understand, I guess, to a certain degree. But there was a time, I'd say it was about 20 years ago, I was doing Reiki work, and I was visiting a friend, and we were doing, actually she had done some Reiki on me. If you don't know what Reiki is just energy work, working with your energy. And for the positive, for the good, clearing negative energies, raising vibrations, and things like that. So I had been receiving some Reiki healing from a friend, and I was at her home. And when I left her home, I was on this main road, and I drive it still till today, every day, going, to work or friends. And I passed this one place, and ironically enough, it was in front of a church on the highway. It was in front of the church. And once I got to the church, I felt like, which at the time I didn't know, but it was a vortex that I was in. And what had happened to me was very scary because I didn't understand it. And what the sensation was is I was driving in my car. I could hear the music, but very different now in the background, and I could feel like I was in a tunnel. And I wasn't going anywhere, but I was moving. So if like you could feel like you do when you're driving in a car, you're passing things. The only difference was I wasn't passing this space. I was stuck in front of this church. And it had frightened me so much that I just forced myself to yell, "Stop." And I yelled, "Stop." And then I propelled forward to a red light. And now I was out of it. I was so frightened. And 20 years ago, I tried to pick up a cell phone. I had an old, the old flip phones.
Yes.
I was having a real hard time dialing it in this. I was trying to call for help is what I was trying to do. I was calling my friend to say, I'm stuck. I didn't know what was going on. So it was a very unusual thing, and that was in my wakened state. This is not a dream. So I had experienced some kind of a time warp or vortex. I'm not sure what it was. It was very scary when you don't know. I don't know if you've ever had that or if anybody else has ever had that before.
That's quite, yeah, what I pick up around churches is archons. Sometimes reptilians. They're not always, but archons usually kind of rule that area from what, obviously reptilians are there, but this basically they're trying to get into your mind and to mind control. And the vortex, I guess you connect it to an opening of some kind, a temporary, hold, you can say, how the beings are coming in and going out. So I guess when beings are coming in, everything kind of stops around there. I guess that's something around those lines.
Because I had just been, my friend had just done Reiki on me, so opened up my energy centers.
Yes. Yeah.
So
those,
I was open and vulnerable, and I wasn't protected.
Yeah. It makes sense. So it's still there. Just people pass through it, but when you're there, you just picked you up. Oh, geez. So it was part of that, something you needed to experience that, obviously, because when I connected that, I feel Arizona, too, a lot of that vortexes like that are there, too.
Interesting.
I'm going to go. I feel Arizona there. It's so weird, because it's similar to those areas.
Wow. Yeah, well, they have a lot of that going. And Arizona's got a lot of those spots. But this is Florida. So, but we're very close to the Bermuda Triangle. So that really has some kind of a connection, I know, because my own experiences, because I've had visits, I've had visits since I grew up down here in Florida my whole life, not too far from the Bermuda Triangle. And I've had these visits, and I really feel that there's a connection there.
What do you think? We talked about alien disclosure. What is your or awakening? What is your take on that? Like what's coming?
So we're definitely, they're here. They've been here. Been here for a while. My feelings are, I've had visitors, and since I'm a young child. But the one that I actually remember most vividly, I was a teenager, and it was a golden head. I don't know much about that extraterrestrial species. I don't know anything about it. Again, frightened. As a young girl, I didn't know, so I spent my life trying to understand it. What do I believe about it now? I believe that they are here, but now we're going to have more people are going to have sightings that may have never had a visit before, have never had any kind of awareness or even a belief system about that extraterrestrials. But I believe that the Pleiadians are going to make it a lot easier for the adjustment period with being the first to present themselves. I really do. I think that that's an agreement. Again, I'm not into politics. I don't want to have a debate with anybody, and it doesn't matter. This is opinion only, but I think our government is already connected with them, Pleiadians.
Yeah, definitely.
And I feel that is the arrangement.
But this being, you said it was a golden head. What kind of being? Or what?
So, as a child, I always had described it as a triangle golden head. I remember trying to translate. See, when you have a visit, okay, you try to make sense of it in what you know. So when I looked at it, I kept saying it's wearing like a prairie hat. See, I was trying to make it, make a connection to something that I already know, but there's nothing I already know, anything like it whatsoever. So it was a golden triangle head, It was small, light, that came to visit me. Didn't hurt me. But I was so scared.
It looks weird. That's all you do. You know.
Well, I remember waking up and I was unable to speak because I was trying to yell for help.
Oh yeah, he didn't want you
but
to do
nothing
that.
came out of my mouth. And
yeah, they
did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
no, they just totally, like I was frozen, but not frozen.
Yeah, they just didn't want everybody to, they didn't want to wake up the neighborhood, let's put it that way.
Pretty much. But I was trying to scream and nothing could come out of my mouth. And then all of a sudden, I was thrown back into my pillow or my bed, and my eyes opened up, and it was morning, and my mother, I could smell the food cooking in the kitchen, like she was making bacon.
Yeah,
I went from the middle of it was pitch black to that to waking up to immediately waking up to this. So again, what happened?
Well, yeah, it feels like it feels like you're part of their collective, and they were just there to remind you that this is your mission, and you went with them. From what it feels like. It feels like physically. But of course, they work with time, so, they make sure that, nobody's going to notice, or they can put you back, but instantly.
Nobody knew. I've never told a soul until about a few years ago. I told a girlfriend of mine because she's understands the same as I do certain things. There's another strange thing that has occurred where I was recently in an automobile accident, and I had to have an MRI done because of my injuries. I was rear-ended while I was sitting at a red light. And I sustained some significant injuries from that, unfortunately, but I'm working through that. Well, the MRI came out, and I was reading the results because I got a copy to give to my other doctors, and it said metallic artifact found from previous surgery. I didn't have a previous surgery that would have metallic anything. So right away I'm thinking, oh, God, I had this surgery a long time ago, but it was nowhere near where they were saying it was. It was in a different area near my in my neck area. But I never had neck surgery. I had a vascular surgery a long time ago.
No.
So I freaked out thinking, oh, my God, the doctor left something behind from surgery. Oh, my God. So I had to go get in touch with this surgeon, and he said, no, we don't use, for the type of surgery that we do, there's no metal used of any kind because it's very sensitive. It's the vascular system. No metal is used. I'm like, but the report says that metallic artifacts was found on my MRI. They go, well, that's probably just a mistake. Is it? I don't know.
I don't think so. I feel zeta energies around that when you're talking about it. Some kind of implant, but it was for your benefit. It's not like, oh, yeah, we're just going to put this in our... No, I think it's part of your genetic makeup. I think it's also part of your senses, so you can connect to what you're working on, too. It's involved with it somehow, it seems. At least that's what I'm getting.
Yes, thank you for validating that. Absolutely. Because, I've had a shift in my abilities when it comes to working with people. People do come to see me because they have something going on that the doctor just can't, put their finger on. But the problem just keeps going. And these people live with pain and discomfort for years. And they'll just come and I just want to relax, or this has been bothering me, that's bothering me. Well, when they come onto my table and I start working on them, now things have changed very recently in the past few months, that instead of me just feeling what's going on with the person with my hands, I actually can see it and feel it at the same time. So I have a much more effective end result with them, and people are starting to really heal. One of the messages I got, though, was I need to start applying that to myself, which is why all of these things, have been happening with the car accident and other attacks, that have happened to me. But it's I look at it and say, thank you. This is an opportunity for another upgrade, right?
Yeah, it's true.
So,
I have a kind of an interesting. What do you think of Africa? I feel like that's like a laboratory. They're using this another version of it that they're.
You literally took the word right out of my mouth. Laboratory. You asked me, what do I think of Africa? I'm like, laboratory. Yes.
Oh, wow.
I feel that this certain area of it. This definitely off the coast. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, maybe they have, the hurricane laboratory, their human laboratory for cloning, maybe they're all, you think of it, Bill Gates is there, which is really strange. It's like, what are you doing, so-called.
Okay, so I did not know that Bill Gates is there, so that would make sense now.
Oh, yeah, he's there. That's where a lot of his foundation is there to get rid of malaria, get rid of, supposedly all this, it's very odd how he's over there and not here.
Right. So that is exactly, I agree with you on that. Laboratory for sure. There's something going on there we do not have knowledge of. It's been going on for a while. With Bill Gates, what is it that he's working on? Do we even know? What is the latest that he's talking about? Yeah.
You can, like this shadow government, as we were talking about hurricanes, I did feel like a laboratory, not necessarily in Africa, but it's like, it was like kind of like a Big Brother type of thing. It wasn't a lot of screens watching the Earth or watching humanity, and there was alien beings there too. It wasn't just humans watching how certain situations, happen.
But it's like the perfect demographic area, geographically speaking. And also the aliens are in the water for sure.
Yes, lots of them. Not just a few. I feel a lot. That's another
There's
entry
a lot
area.
going on in our oceans. Most of our Earth is covered with water. Majority of it, it's mostly water. So they occupy. What is going on, right? So we're not capable as humans to physically go to the depths of where they are. We would never survive at those depths. So we can't say that they're not there.
Makes sense. Yeah, well, they're in another dimension anyway. Well, some of them are, not all of them, but even with the technologies, they can't go that far, that deep without blowing up.
No, they can't.
That makes a lot of sense.
No,
well, it's funny.
They can't. The technology can only go to certain depths.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense because they don't want just anybody to buy this technology. They say, hey, let's go take a look. They don't want people just to.
Right.
Because it's funny how we don't really know much about the ocean. I don't think.
No.
And that's for a reason, from what it feels like. Just like
but
the
have
moon.
you ever gone to the ocean? I've seen activity here on the East Coast, in the ocean on the East Coast of Florida. I've seen ships by the ocean at night. I've seen it in the daytime, but not as clearly. But mostly at night, and I'm not the only person that sees it. There's an area not far from me where people do go. In fact, I think what's his name? C. SETI.
I thought it was Greer. What is his name? I forget his name.
Dr. Greer.
Stephen Greer.
Dr. Greer. He's been to an area not too far from where I am, and they've done this. They've had sightings there. But I've seen it, too, over here on this side. And, again, we're talking about right off the coast of the Bermuda Triangle. We're not far from it, So there's definitely stuff going on in our oceans, and they come. That's where they come in and out of.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them, anyway. I think.
Definitely. Yeah, it's still active. Yes, I'm surprised no ships. Like the stories of Bermuda Triangle ships being pulled to the bottom of the ocean. You don't hear anything like that anymore, or at least they're not talking about it. At least
they're not talking about it anymore, but that doesn't mean it's not happening.
Yeah, maybe obviously cruise ships. They want those to avoid that area, but yeah, they definitely don't talk about it. That's for sure.
No, right. I won't do it. I really am not feeling like going into the vortex of the unknown. But that just because they're not talking about it doesn't mean it's not happening. Just like everything else that is out there, this controlled media is really very dangerous for people to. I really just wish that people would just start to do their own due diligence. Just have an open mind, listen, observe, go with your intuition. Your intuition that's why you have it. It's what it's there for. And, opening your third eye and trusting yourself, your higher self. And for some people, they don't understand how to do that. Well, I can tell you one of the ways to help you tune in or tap into your intuition is through meditation. It's very powerful. For you and I don't have to go into a meditation deeply to receive messages. They they come all day, whether I want it or not.
Yeah, I've gotten used. I don't do much meditation anymore. I kind of just connect to my guides, the ones that'll talk to me now. But astral has become a lot easier. I feel like I can just go somewhere. I don't usually do it often, but I never had that feeling before.
Yeah, that's right. That's an upgrade, right? So we have these upgrades, and then things are shifting so it's not like the old way, well, if I just do the meditation, because I used to just do the meditation to travel, right, to get to the higher self. Now I go to meditation to take a break from it. Yeah,
exactly, Or take a break from
I just need to calm down and just give me a break for a moment, but... I actually was in meditation, and I was taken upon a ship for healing.
Wow.
It was very cool.
Yeah, I don't remember any of my alien stuff. I remember here and there. I did get a message. Well, I messaged you about that. The alien disclosure. I felt I felt like the tall blonde Nordics of the Pleiadians. I felt their presence, you can say, but didn't really or anything, but like we're coming or something like that. They're here, but so I get a little indication here and there. So, but that's about it.
That's it. I know they are, but it's they have an arrangement. The government has an arrangement. You understand, like the disclosure that we speak of. It's an agreement. Okay, well, if you're going to do this, it has to be when we tell you could. Well, first of all, I believe that the Pleiadians have a little more power than our government, but they're being respectful to not create a problem. Because it would be dangerous for us. Our government would be a danger to us.
They don't want to. Sightings are okay, ships here and there. They don't mind that so much, but
they can write it off as a air
spaceship,
a blimp or a air balloon.
SpaceX is written off. It's always SpaceX recently. It's all SpaceX.
Right now the SpaceX phenomenon, right? But when you have an actual being, we can't chalk that off as nothing, because that contact is finite.
Yeah.
We can't write it off. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What do you feel about the government? Yeah, what you mentioned about the government. What do you think about, I know I'm going to go into politics, but what do you think about the presidency and all that? So much negativity going on.
I know. Well, it's a waste of time to to have such anger toward a man who has no power.
Yeah, exactly.
He's actually not the one that's making the decisions, people.
Oh, really?
No. They're pulling the strings, and so they give him a little bit of power to do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Yeah. But why are you angry at the man that is really not the one in power?
Yeah, that's
my opinion.
They keep the smoke screen going to get people riled up,
I feel that he's actually somebody pushing for disclosure.
Yes, I think so.
He's ruffling some feathers.
As we're talking, I kind of visualize him talking about it.
Yes, he is. He's like already, he wants to be the one, because he's such a narcissist. Yeah. He wants to be the one that you say, look what I did. I did the impossible.
Well, if it does happen, it's a second term in that. Because I don't
exactly. But I don't even know if he wants that. I think he just wants to be one and done, Look what I did. I'm moving on to the next bigger, better things. I'm going to start my space program and head that up for you. How do you like that?
Captain
That's
of space.
But we're putting so much hatred and anger towards a man that is powerless. People, come on.
Yeah. They don't
stop with that. It's not productive. It's not, the voting and not voting and who's in charge. And you know what? Who you think is in charge is not in charge.
Yeah, because they're not going to let just common people vote for any. It's like, are you kidding me? We're going to let them choose who's going to win. It's like,
no, it's just a way of just keeping you at bay. It's just keeping people satisfied. Oh, okay, I voted, and he won. Oh, he didn't win. Well, the person that's really doing it.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
The people that are really running it, you don't even know who they are or where they exist if they're even on this plane.
Well, yeah. I think. I've been feeling like the ones running the show are off planet, but there are some that are here, and they're in their their command center. Yeah, they're in their command center, wherever it is, in Africa or underground. There's that. They're all over the place. Mm-hmm. I keep getting these visions of this, they have these huge screens. They can put on whoever they want. They can, through satellite images, they can see whoever they want. So privacy is gone. So
watch In and Out cartoon.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, that's exactly what I see, but this is in a cartoon form. Totally, that's what it is.
The Truman Show is kind of, if you want a better view of that, the guy that was running the Truman Show, which I love that. The movie itself is classic, but the guy that's running Truman is like a father Truman never knew. And that's how, I believe that's how these beings look at us too. So,
exactly. Exactly. But we can get to know them if we just open our minds to the reality of it. And there really is no need to have fear if your intent is for the highest and greatest good. So I don't do what I do for money or for fame. Actually, I am rewarded differently. And I live a very humble life. I don't need anything extravagant, but what I am with riches of is the reward of knowing that I have the ability to utilize my gift. And that's all that matters. Because I have been sitting around and, listen, when I was a little girl, I didn't understand why people didn't do what I did when they got hurt. Meaning, when a friend would fall down, I'm going to use this as an example, I would go over and I would use my hands and I'd go over to my friend and I'd hold the area that was injured. Very I was supposed to do that. And nobody else was doing it, and I didn't understand why they weren't doing that. And so, over time, I didn't understand. I still didn't understand why people just didn't do that. Well, now I understand.
Yeah.
So, so now that I have the opportunity to utilize what it is that I was brought here to do, that's where my reward is. In that. And then once I get to a certain point, because it's all about gratitude, being grateful for all the good and the bad, then we are taken to the next level, and we will be rewarded. So I don't have fear. Fear of what? Fear is false evidence appearing real. What is fear?
That's true. Well, all fears usually don't come unless you make it happen on your own. It usually don't happen.
And I have another, and hopefully this may help somebody listening, if they are listening or will be listening. There's a lot of people that are suffering anxiety. They're coming to me for anxiety. This is actually kind of pretty epidemic now. It's a lot, or maybe I'm just having an awareness of it now. I don't know, but a lot of people are having serious anxiety issues of all ages, young and old. In fact, it happened again today with another person. And so I say, what's going on? Why are people having this? So what I say to them is this: anxiety is the fear of the future. But the future is the only thing that you have is this moment now. So to fear or to have anxiety about something that's not occurring is non-existent. How can you have anxiety about something that doesn't exist? And what is depression? Depression is worrying about or thinking about the past, which doesn't exist. So the only thing that really exists is the now. And Eckhart Tolle, that's from Eckhart Tolle. And so when we are nervous or having anxiety, we're fearing something that doesn't exist. It's in our mind. Our mind is so powerful, we can change and shift the way in which we are in our minds and our belief systems. So you may have, anxiety now. You can learn how to control that or to, manage it through these techniques. So I just wanted to mention that. For some reason, I needed to say that for somebody.
No, that's good. No, yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's definitely. Well, that's part of our way of life. We're going into another way of life, and of course, you have that anxiety there, of the unknown.
That's right.
And we're not used to, you say, being free. You can say something like that.
That's right.
It's just not part of our culture. It's
not part of our culture that we were brought up with, but it is part of our DNA.
Yes, exactly. Because we have the capability of seeing the future, seeing now. The idea is, we'll get it straight eventually. How do you? How do you like people to contact you? Them to contact through me? If they like
that would be great. If anybody wanted to ask questions or would like to contact me, they can certainly go through you, and then we'll go from there for sure.
Okay, sounds good. Any about to wrap up? Any last messages you like to say at the moment before we go?
Well, first and foremost, that I am very grateful to have the opportunity to reach people on a large scale and share my thoughts with, and I appreciate you inviting me on to share my thoughts, because what we have to say is only to help other people, and that's all I really want to do. And so with that, I say thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being on. It's very helpful. All right, we're going to close out the show. All right, thank you for calling in, and thank you for helping us out.
Absolutely.
Giving your point of view. So,
all right, Ivan, thank you. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. All right, blessings.
You too. Blessings. All right, thank you, Gina. That was very helpful. We have a caller on, so we'll Hello, caller. Greetings. I think it's okay. Greetings. Hello. Anybody there? It's been holding for a while. Only once. Only twice. All right. Guess nobody's there. Put it back in hold. Okay. This is the Interstellar Radio. We now might be going through changes. I might be going over to Spreaker, or however you pronounce that. But it's still going to have the same format. I'm going to have a phone number for people to call in. I'm still researching everything going through transitions. So I'll make that available when possible. We'll still be able to do interviews and for people to call in. Of course, the call-in time will be open when we're accepting calls. We're doing an interview today, so there's no calls for tonight. But the future episode, I am not sure when that's going to be. Possibly Monday night. We'll see how it goes. It's going to be, this week's going to be kind of play it by ear week. It'll be on Facebook, if there is going to be one, and Twitter. I'm not sure if anybody connects with Twitter. So we're working on getting guests on here, but I'm also trying to not wear myself out too much. So we're kind of laying low on the broadcast because I do YouTube every night. And I do this. It's kind of overload in some ways. So, but we will be continuing this sometime this week, maybe Wednesday. We'll see how it goes. So, thank you all for tuning in. You go to ivantower.com for more information about the show and other things. All right. Weekend.